Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, we are going to do something super cool. So I am excited to tell you about it. What I am going to do is I'm going to record for you. I'm using Zoom to record. I'm going to record for you how to start a blab, and then we're going to actually record the blab on Zoom. So I figured out that this was a way that I could share with everyone the real basics of how to get going on Blab. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. And let's see. Here we go. Now I'm going to minimize myself in the corner here. You'll still hear that I'm talking over here, but you won't see me because once we're on Blab, you'll see me on Blab. So I'm just going to start from scratch. So what you want to do is open up your browser and go to Blab.im. And when you come into Blab, now first of all, before you start, you're going to want to set up a profile, and the way that you can do that is through Twitter. That's actually the best way to do it. So set up a Twitter profile if you don't have one. If you do, you can sign into Blab using your Twitter handle, and it will move all of your information in your bio in Twitter over to your bio in Blab. However, you may want to review that bio and change it up a little. One of the things that I did straight away was to change up my bio. Now, what we're going to do first when we get into Blab is to look at what our profile looks like. So let's look at that. So it will tell you on your profile over here on the left your name, and your name is what shows when you're in a Blab seat. Your name is what will show on screen. Your handle, so my handle is actually backwards because there are so many Sarah Thompsons in the world that when I set up my Twitter handle, I did it backwards, which is a little confusing, but it's at Thompson Sarah B. That's my Twitter handle as well as my Blab handle. And it tells you in the profile how many days I've been on Blab. So I've been on Blab for just 33 days, so a little more than a month. And I thought, well, if I've been on for a month and other people haven't been on at all, then maybe I can teach them some sort of basic newbie things that I've learned in the first month. So I just have my description of what I do, what I blab about, and I also recommend that you put your website URL that you want people to go to right in your bio. And there's also this find me on Twitter. So if someone goes into your bio, they can follow you on Twitter easily. So it tells you here your stats. So I have 5 replays. So what happens is even if I'm in a seat on another blab, that doesn't show in a replay. The replay only shows how many blabs that I have done and recorded. So I've hosted 5 blabs that I've recorded. I actually hosted a couple that I missed recording. So I think I've hosted 7 total. I've been in a lot of other people's blabs, which is one of the ways that I started to get followers. So it tells you here that I have 284 followers. If I click on it, I can see who those followers are. And I can also see if I am following them or not. If I want to follow them, like I was just in a blab and this woman was in there, pretty interesting. So I would click follow and follow her. Now I may not want to follow someone, so you don't have to follow everyone that follows you. You can just see, so maybe I don't follow this person, right? Nothing against her, I just choose not to. And then I can also look at who I'm following. And what it tells you here is if you're following someone who isn't, following you, it will show here. So like this woman I just followed, she's not following me yet. Occasionally I have gone in, and if there's someone who, after a long period of time, they're not following me, I've actually unfollowed them because I figure if they're not really interested in what I'm doing, then I'm less interested in what they're doing. But I give people some time to sort of catch up because people aren't really that familiar with this platform. But you'll see here, these are all the different people I'm following. And in some cases, they're not following me yet. Some may never. So that's okay too. So what if I want to edit my profile? I would just click here and it would allow me to edit my profile. This is the email address I chose to use for this particular profile, but you can put whichever email address you would like to use, and that's where you will get information sent to you. And then you enter in your bio and then upload a picture. And you can also change the notifications. So for example, I have no notifications put on because I want to go in and use Blab when I choose to, not when I get a notice or some kind of distracting thing. Now, some people have this clicked on, which is why I will show you that what happens is they will get a notice when you start your Blab. So sometimes that'll get people to come in if they have their notifications on. So you can choose, what you want to do with your notifications. Okay, so that's your profile. That is all the information there. Let's just look up here. There's some other things, settings, how to log out. But let's go to start a new Blab, which you can do either with the arrow here or just clicking on this purple button. Now you would want to click on let's start a new Blab whether or not you're scheduling out a Blab in the future or doing one right now. So we're going to talk about how, well, first of all, I put the name of my show. Sorry. My show name is The Money Show. And we're going to talk about how to master, no, not really master, how to learn Blab in 30 days and make more money. Okay, and if I have a guest, I might put that person's name. So with Denise Whiteley. Oh no, I don't have enough room. So then I have to take out a few things. Whiteley. Does it fit? Yay, it fit. So then you want to choose 3 tags. So I'm going to choose business, right? Social media, maybe, because Blab is social media. And I don't know. Let's see. Coaching, maybe? I don't know. I choose different ones at different times. When do you want to go live? So you can say now or in the future. So let's always say in the future, even if it's in a couple of minutes. And it will let you choose which date and also change the time. So I just changed the time right here. So I'm going to change the time to 12 p.m. And it will be, as it says, the time is in your time zone. So I'm going to schedule the Blab. And then it will show me that Blab is scheduled. No one has subscribed. I just scheduled it. Sometimes if you schedule a Blab ahead, you'll get some people that subscribe and then they'll get notices. If I want to use this link, all I have to do is click on it. It says copied, and then I can go over, for example, to Facebook or another medium and share that link. And the people, let's do this. See if I can, sorry about that. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Let's go into Facebook. And let's go into my Facebook group, which anyone watching is invited to join if you're not already a member. And I will put, I am about to go live on Blab with Denise Whiteley to talk about learning Blab in 30 days to please join us or whatever, right? And then I'm gonna paste the link, which we'll just post it like this, even though it's a little messy. And you can see how the post comes up. So see, it shows my Blab picture. It also happens to be my Facebook picture, but it shows my Blab picture as well as the showing the description or the title that you put on that Blab. And it's a link. So if somebody wants to, they can click right on that link, click on it, and they will go right into that Blab. Okay. Now it gives me the option to check this out. This is so cool. I'm recording this in 2 places. So first you want to hit record, probably. Sometimes I forget to do that. Second, you want to notify your 284 followers that you're here. So yes, tell them. You don't always have to, but in this case I do. I want them to know so they can join. So yes, tell them. And look what happens here. This is so cool. So now I asked Denise to join me so I could show you on screen on this recording how to add somebody. So what I can do here is hit the check mark, or if I didn't want to let her in, I could hit the X mark, and then that would, get her out of bothering me. Just kidding. Okay, so I'm gonna let her in, and you'll see that, and it'll show her coming in. Hi! Hi! Hi, everyone. Welcome. One of the things you might want to do when you're first starting out on Blab is to welcome the people that have joined you. So you can, just read on the side. I'm recording this Blab on Zoom so that I can show people how to do even the most basic things in Blab, like how, the things that you click on. You can't see that when you're watching a Blab, but I'm recording it on Zoom, so then you guys will be able to see it after, and I'm going to do a blog post with that Zoom recording embedded in it. So it'll show you on the side, like right here, it shows you everyone that joined. It also shows you at the top everyone that is in your Blab, and if you hover over their picture, you can see that it'll show you their bio as well as their number of followers. So I'm looking at Darren's right now. Hi, Darren. And I'm going to follow him by clicking follow. Yay! Now I followed him, right? You can also do that if I wanted to hover over Denise's name, someone that's on screen. I could just hover over it, and Denise is wearing the same color shirt in her picture as Darren, so that's really cool. And I'm already following her, and she already follows me. So it gives you a little info about the person, anyone who's watching. Okay, so let's look over here to our left. We have Tell a Little Bird. Now I'm going to do that. It composes a tweet for you, but you can change it up if you want. And it posts it. I just posted it, shows it here, and it's also in Twitter. So if anyone wants to do that and try it, just click on that Tell a Little Bird on the left of your screen, and it will do it. It will do it automatically, right? So it's really cool. So I just want to show you this open seat lock seat. So you guys see that that's an open seat, and on Blab you see a join button. But on here I see that I can lock it. So this would be useful if I'm doing an interview with Denise and she and I are talking and we don't want to be interrupted by people knocking or trying to get in, right? But then I can unlock it if it's now time for people to come in. So if anyone would like to join the seat, feel free. We're going to be talking about, how to learn Blab quickly. One of the easiest ways to learn Blab quickly is not to start by hosting your own show, but to start by jumping on other people's Blabs, because you'll see some of the things they do that work and you'll get to use the tool, try it out, test it. You know, one of the things here is this is how you give props. I can't do it to myself. I'll give them to Denise. This is how you give props to someone. Props is like a heart on Periscope, or just showing them the love. And then it shows your little picture. That's when you're on your computer. I find when I try to do that on my phone on Blab, it doesn't show my picture. It just increases the number. So I like to give people props that join me, and keep them about even. You know, some people call it like, say like, you won the props thing. At the end, when you close the Blab out, you'll see that the person that got the most, the top 3 people that got the most props show on your screen when you close out the Blab. So that's kind of cool. Now, one of the interesting things that you can do is you can actually mute someone out. So if Denise is talking, so Denise, say hi, introduce yourself.
I wanted to tell you that tell a little bird, make sure that you put the @ before your own name, because then it'll show, you know, for Twitter, because you spelled my last name wrong. So, you know what I mean? Like, but you can, like, because it would come Denise Whiteley instead of at Denise Whiteley, all one word. It's Denise, like the first name, the last name. So I put that in the comments.
Yeah, so good tip. And don't spell your guest's last name wrong when you've known them for a year.
All right, so you're going to mute me because I'm talking too much?
Yeah, so what you can do is I can mute her on my screen. So now talk. So did everyone else hear her? Because you can mute individual people and not hear them, but that doesn't mean they're muted for everyone. Did everyone else hear her or not? Put it in the comments. Did you hear her or not?
We'll see. If I keep talking, I'll see if people hear me.
No, now they can because I unmuted you.
Okay.
No, they didn't hear her. See? Okay, so that's a good test. So I, as the host, can mute anybody out. You, as a listener, can mute people out on your individual screen. So if you want to mute me out right now, you can go ahead and do that on your screen. You won't hear me, but everyone else in the group will because the host hasn't muted them, right? So there's 2 ways to mute people. As the host, you could mute everyone. Like sometimes you might want to mute somebody if there's some background noise that's kind of distracting, right? So you might, you know, if Denise's dog is barking and, you know, she's just sitting there and somebody else is talking, rather than interrupt, I might just mute her. So, you know, to quiet her dog down. And then when she's ready to come back in, I'll unmute her. Or I'll say, hey, sorry, Denise, I had to mute you. Your dog was really loud, which does actually happen. So, okay. So who wants to jump in this open seat and who has questions about how to learn Blab, what to do, how to start your first show? Anyone? Bueller? So that's one of the things that you should do when you're hosting a Blab and you actually want people to join into seats is invite people to join the seat. Now you can do that either verbally invite them or you can put that in the chat, and I'm just going to type in because as the host you can participate in the chat as well. So anyone want to jump in? Open seat. Hi, Nick. Welcome. How are you today? Do you want to jump in the open seat? Right? And that's one of the things that I like about Blab, very well, cool, see, is that you can have a conversation. I can have a conversation with Denise. I can also have a conversation with Nick, even if he's not in the seat, right? So the interaction that you get on Blab compared to other platforms is really quick and I'd say at a higher level, right? So that's why I really want people to learn how to use Blab and to do it. And what's your experience been with Blab so far, Denise?
I've just been on a few. I went with a couple different people where I've joined like in the conversation, and that's it. I've never run my own Blab or anything like that. So I mean, I know to create an account through Twitter. I knew that much.
Yep.
And then I've joined in conversations, and I really like it because it's a way to have a conversation with people, and other people can listen, and they can contribute to the conversation also.
Right. So. No, I agree totally. And pizza. Ooh, I like pizza. Welcome, pizza. Now you're making me hungry for lunch. It's almost lunchtime here. So yeah, no, people can, yeah, see, your daughter is loud in the background, so you muted yourself. So you can do that too. You can mute yourself if you have background noise. I do that all the time because, you know, I have a lot of kid noise in the background sometimes. Sometimes you'll join a Blab, you'll think it's a great time, and it's not a great time. You can either mute yourself or you can actually just jump off. There's sort of an etiquette that's developing on Blab, and some of the rules of etiquette are if you have something like going on, like your phone is ringing and you're trying to talk on the phone while you're on Blab, just jump out. Just X out of your seat. Now I could X out Denise. I'm going to X out Denise so that she can jump back in, but jump back in after. So I can X her out if, you know, whatever. If sometimes people X you out and say, hey, I'm opening the seat for new questions, right? New people to jump in. Because you want to, in some cases, keep those seats rotating. Now, obviously, if you're interviewing someone, you wouldn't, you know, take them out of their seat. You would only have the bottom two seats open. So, you know, I'm just doing this to show you. You X out and it'll say, now again, they can't see you. The Blab people watching on Blab can't see this. People watching this Zoom recording can. And it says, are you sure you want to kick this person? It's really funny that they call it kicking them. So yes, I do. Okay. So now that seat is open. It shows for everyone watching that there's 3 open seats. And now Denise can knock again, which is join on the viewer screen. And it will pop up on my screen. You know, that see, okay, so it pops up again. She's calling in again. And I say yes, and I accept her. Yay, I accepted you. Welcome again.
It goes louder. Like when I go out, the speaker becomes louder. Like you get louder, but when I come back in, sorry,
It's okay.
it's less. The volume goes down when I come back in.
Right. So show me the money. That was what Pizza said, but then Pizza left. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit, which is the making more money part. And that is that there's a few things about Blab that will help you make more money. Now you have to have something to sell, right? So make sure you have something to sell. But I lost Denise again. She must have bad internet connection, so she went out. Okay, I'm going to let her in again. So one of the ways that you make more money is by making more offers. What that means is you have something to sell and you offer to sell it. And one of the things that happens in Blab is that you're interacting with people on a regular basis. It's not like you have to cold call or find people to make offers to. There's people right there on the screen that have particular problems that you can say, hey, I'm willing to help you with that. Now, that doesn't have to be a sales conversation. It can just be, do you need some help with that? And that may lead to them buying something from you. Also, just being visible, people getting to know you, they are more likely, studies have shown, right? People are more likely to spend money with someone they know, like, and trust. And know and like are 2 things that Blab gets you very quickly. Well, of course not if you're not likable, but if you are likable, right? People get to know you. And that's another Blab tip. One of the things that makes you more likable on Blab is to smile. I actually did my first Blab, like I was in a seat or something, and a friend messaged me to smile because I was like this. Like I just look miserable. Well, people don't want to like hang out with miserable people. So whenever you can, smile. Even if it's sort of dorky and awkward like that, just throw in a smile. You don't realize it, but when you're listening intently, you forget to smile, right? Denise doesn't, it happens to me all the time. Obviously it happens to you because you're really focused and you just start to like, oh yeah. right? So even when you're in a seat, try to be dynamic, try to smile, try to, nod your head if you agree with the person, right? People notice all of that, that you're engaged, that you are an engaging person, that you are somebody that they want to be around. Yep, smiles are important. Well, I mean, it's so funny because people use the example of like smiles being this international language, and it's so true. You don't have to even speak another language, and you go to a country and you smile at someone, and sure enough, they smile back, right? It's a positive thing to put out in the world. Just smile more, laugh more, smile more, what have you. So the other thing to keep in mind, which Denise gave me a little bit of info on, was that people do not notice your hair as much as you do. I have seen so many people worrying about their hair, including me. And if you're constantly, it's no different than being in front of somebody and giving a speech. If you're constantly like futzing with your hair, messing with your hair, it's very distracting, right? If you're constantly like, I sometimes my glasses will slip, so I do have to adjust them. It's not to say you should sit frozen like this, but just be aware, and you will, trust me, if you're on screen a lot, you'll be aware that that your ear is always itchy, or that this part of your hair stands up. Well, guess what? Nobody notices that as much as you do. Nobody does, really. They're going to notice you doing this a heck of a lot more than they're going to notice that this little freaking hair back here is out of place, right? They're not going to notice that. So, relax. Try not to fiddle with things. I'm a fiddler, right? So try not to do that. That's another tip for you. What other things, Denise, or anyone in the chat, do you think are important to know? Oh, well, one thing I'll tell you is this tells you up here that 17 people have been in and out of these rooms, and 4 people are now currently watching. Now it shows these 4 people. Mr. Wonderful's here. Oh, I don't follow him. I should follow him. And Anne is here, and Denise is here, and then I'm here. So there's 4 of us now watching this blab, and you can see who the 4 people are. Sometimes there'll be people watching as a guest. They don't actually have a blab profile. You sent them a link, and then they'll just show up as, it'll say like +1 here or +2. Those are the people that are watching as a guest that don't have their own profile set up. So you can't really see the information, but you see that there's more than the 4 people here. So the other thing is, people come in and out of Blab. It's sort of like channel surfing with a remote control, that people sometimes they'll come in, and even if you welcome them, like I don't think welcome Matt right away, but even if you welcome them and say, hi, Matt, they might come in and they pop right back out. Don't take it personally. It doesn't mean that you're not doing a good job on your blab. It could be 100 other reasons. It could be their kid just threw up. Their cat is, at the door. It's not necessarily a reflection of how you're doing on your blab, right? Sometimes it is. I mean, it could be that, for example, my topic, the money show, learn how to blab in 30 days and make more money. Maybe people join, and if I'm not specifically talking about the thing in that title that they want at that particular time, like pizza guy said, show me the money, and that might have been the thing that drew him. And if I wasn't talking about that at that time, then he might, he did leave. But I have no idea why, but maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But just try not to focus too much on, if people are coming and going, because it happens all the time. You just have to get comfortable with that. It's not a reflection of whether you're doing a good job or not. What you can do if you start doing a show on Blab is just be consistent and keep showing up. And people will start to stay longer. They will start to engage more. It will naturally happen. I mean, even if somebody isn't jumping in a seat, you also have no idea why not. Maybe they're not jumping in a seat because, their hair isn't done. I've heard that many times. And that's a good point too, is when you're going to be on Blab, even if you're going to be watching, you do want to keep in mind that if you're the type of person that loves to jump in when the conversation gets heated up, like, be ready. I joke around, but it's so true. In the 32 days that I've been on Blab, I've worn more makeup and done my hair more than I think in the last 3 years. So keep that in mind. Like, I even have my nails done like all the time now. And my hair is done. Like that doesn't happen, right? Because I'm not on screen that much. But now that I am, I'm just ready. I'm ready if I'm going to jump on and I want to potentially jump in a conversation, because that's one of the ways that you can get followers is join into somebody else's blab, and the top blabs are listed at the top. When I say top, I mean the ones that the most people are watching. Doesn't mean it's the most interesting content. But if you jump in and there's an open seat, or an open seat opens up, jump into a seat. That's how you get the most followers the fastest, is by jumping into seats on other people's blabs. Doesn't mean you have to be, yeah, exactly. Secret E-boy. Tell me, what's your, oh, well, your name is Mr. Wonderful. What's the secret of success? Be prepared, said someone famous. Yeah, I don't know who the famous person was, but it's true though. If you're prepared, then you can jump onto any blab anytime, and it might be a discussion that you're like, oh my God, that is exactly my thing. I need to jump in. And if Denise knows me, if anybody knows me, she knows that that is like, that kills me. Like if somebody starts talking about a topic and I'm not able to like jump in and throw my 2 cents in, and it's like a really important topic to me, it's hard, right? For me, that's just my personality. So, and some other people might have to push themselves to talk about certain things. But if you have like a list of, say, 5 or 10 things that are really important to you, you'll start to notice that those are the things that you want to jump into blabs when they're talking about. You know, there's certain blabs that I won't go in because I don't want to be in a conversation about it. I mean, there's a lot of people that will put a blab topic about avoiding trolls. I don't I don't really, that's not like a focus area for me. I try to focus on positive things, not negative. So I just mostly avoid blabs that have titles that aren't interesting to me. I even sometimes avoid blabs. If I've joined a few blabs and like hasn't been so good, I just won't ever join again, or I won't for a while. Maybe I'll try it out again. Like there's one guy who does a regular blab, and I've joined a few times. And hi, Troy, welcome. And he doesn't even like acknowledge the people that are making comments. And so I could be making like some seriously, like, I think it's like words of wisdom comments, and he doesn't acknowledge it. So one of the main things that you want to keep doing, it's a conversation that you're having. You're having the conversation with the people on screen. Like Denise and I are on screen, we're having a conversation, but you're also having a conversation with the people over here in this chat, right? Now, the question thing, I just want to let you know, if you have a question, one of the things to do is, I think it's /question. Do you have a question? And this is a little tip. And then it shows up as question on the chat. So the person that, you know, if you're over in the chat and you want to get a question answered, or you want to get some attention, then do that /Q and then your question, and it'll get this cool little, you know, question box. Now let's see. I also want to show you how you can like things. So there's a little like comment thing over here, which is a star. So if I look at Denise, this blab is on the homepage of Blab.im for top blabs, right? So, right, it's fun. So let me click on this, and I'm clicking on it, and that gives a star. So that's like if somebody says, hey, Sarah, or they say something cool that I like, I'll just click on that and give them a little star. Or I could say, click on this arrow, and that puts her name in the box, and I can say, hi, Denise, right, back. And then you see that it shows her name right here, her handle, and then the thing. So she knows I was replying to her, and it sticks out a little bit more. especially in a fast moving chat, right? You're going to want to use those little tricks, right? So what other things do you think people need to know, Denise?
Well, we're gonna. I haven't done it yet, but we're gonna put your blabs as on your blog, and that's one way to, to show that people like I'm all about know, like, and trust factor. So people know you and like you, they get to actually see you talking.
Right.
And a lot of people say that if I get somebody on the phone, a few of my clients say if I get somebody on the phone, then things go better. So the more they see you talking and in person and see you smiling,
right,
the better they are. So that's one way you could use Blab.
Yep.
And to do video blogs as instead of written blogs.
Right, exactly. And what happens, and you'll see this in the recording, what happens is that when we close the Blab, which I'm going to do in a few minutes, it ends the Blab and it sends you an email with your MP3 and MP4 file. So you can use those. That's basically what they call MP3 file is an audio only file. MP4 file is a audio and video file. So you could turn your Blab into a podcast by using the MP3 file, or you can turn it into upload it to YouTube, or both of those can be put in an
email to people.
In an email, well, no, but in a blog post. Why was that so hard for me to remember? Yeah, so there's all these different things that you can do. Keep in mind, however, that if you are not the host of the Blab, you will not get those files. So if you're just on a Blab, and say you're being interviewed on here, and say Denise says, "Hey, Sarah, I really would like to put that on my page too," right? She can ask me and I can send her the file. So it's not like the file is only for me, but it only goes to me. So the way to start producing more of that content that's sent to you, that it's very easy for you to use, is to start hosting your own show. Which, again, you might not be ready to host your own show in the first week. I wasn't. I spent 2 weeks sort of paying attention to what people were doing and then launched my first show. Because I realized then I could control the conversation, not control in a bad way, but just sort of orchestrate that Blab to sort of be how I wanted it to be. Invite guests that I really thought had something important to say for my people, right? And, guide the conversation to what my people want to learn, which in my case is how to make more money. That's what my people want to learn. So all of my shows have something about how to make more money. We talked about it a little bit here, how to make money on Blab. And one of the main ways is to start showing up on Blab in other people's shows and start your own show, right? So those are some of the things you want to do. Hi, Chris, welcome. And having that presence, having that consistency, having people learn who you are, what you do, what you stand for, what your personality is, what your smile looks like, right? All of those things contribute to your ability to make money in business, period. Just does. Doesn't matter what business you're in. You're putting yourself in front of your audience. Now, granted, Blab is not as big as it will be, but right now is a perfect opportunity for you to be an early adopter, to learn this very quickly and embrace this new technology, this new platform. I don't think it's really that new technology, but it's a new platform. And jump in and start early. I mean, there will be a time when people will join Blab and, I've been on Blab for 32 days. I'm like a veteran already. I'm already doing this. I'm recording and teaching other people who have never been on Blab how to get onto Blab and what to do. I jumped into someone's Blab the other day that I happened to see that I knew, and I was showing him like some of the things he needed to do while he was on Blab. And he was like, oh, thank you. And I've only been doing this for 30 days, right? You can learn something and teach somebody else who hasn't learned it yet right away, right? It's possible. I just proved it. You know, I used to think you had to learn something and be 5, 10 years ahead of somebody before you could be a teacher. That's not the case anymore, right? You can teach somebody something that you learned yesterday because you learned it and you can now teach it. Imagine that, right? Isn't that a cool concept, Denise?
It is.
Welcome, Angela. If anyone wants to jump in the open seat, feel free. Welcome.
Okay.
Oh, I just said if anyone wanted to jump in the open seats, feel free. I'm going to give Denise some props. Give some props. Click to give props. Yay!
The one thing I want to comment on being on online chats now is you can tell when other people, like you said, are fixing their hair, like not the host, but if other people are doing things that are distracting, then the host is talking. So I always try to be really still when I'm sitting in a video chat, so that I'm not
distracting from the person that's talking, whether it's the host or whoever. Yeah, and that's really good. Sometimes you can't, though. I mean, sometimes the host is someone like me that could talk for 15 minutes and you're like, oh my God, I have to pee. And you just have to be like, put your hand up, go pee, come back, and, say sorry, whatever. You don't even have to tell them what you did, right? Sometimes you have to do things like, what'd I do with it? Oh, here we go. Sometimes you have to do things like have a drink of your water.
Have my water.
While somebody's talking. I mean, that's okay. That's actually a good time to have a drink of your water while somebody else is talking, right? Because it's harder to stop what you're saying and be like, oh, sorry, guys, I need to take a sip of my water.
Yeah, right.
Right? And so that's another tip. Always have some kind of water or some kind of drink with you because you never know how long you're going to be talking to people. Oh, yeah, and the cough drops are good, too. I ran out of my favorite ones. Had to order more. Another tip for you is have a decent microphone. This is like, I don't know, $50, $60 microphone. It's not that expensive, but it makes a huge difference. I have lighting in my office. I am actually going to get a new light, which is this like halo one, so it doesn't have this glare behind me. But that's another thing. Behind you, you might want to have your URL. I already told people in the beginning to make sure when you go into
that's a good idea.
your bio that you have your URL in your bio. That was something I was talking about before I started the Blab, but on Zoom. So I noticed, for example, Denise, you don't have your URL in your bio. Put it in there. Wherever you want people to go. Like mine goes to my opt-in, the Money Coach page. Wherever you want people to go, put that in your bio. So then it's really easy, right? If Denise had it there, I could either copy and paste it. I don't know if it's clickable. Might be clickable. Let me see. Oh yeah, it is clickable. Cool.
I don't think I have anything in my bio.
Right, you probably brought your bio over from Twitter, and that's one of the first things I tell people to do when they get on Blab is to review your bio. And you might not want to have the same bio as you have on Twitter, right? One of the things that's helpful, since Blab is fairly new, is to put in your bio what you blab about. If you have a show, what is your show focused on? So people know whether they want to follow you or not. I mean, you might blab about nutrition and someone clicks on it and they're like, oh, I am so interested in learning. Oh, yeah. It is, I am on my computer right now. Chris, if you want to, you can jump in a seat and then we'll be able to see you through your camera on your computer. You don't even need a separate camera, although I do have one. It's not plugged in right now. This is right on my MacBook. Hi, Marty. Welcome. So you can, here we go. All right. Welcome, Chris. So it flashes until he comes on. It flashes a picture of him smiling, which is good. Smiley picture. Okay. Sometimes if somebody's internet isn't really strong, it'll flash for a while. And sometimes they kind of get stuck. So we'll see how long it takes for him to come on. If it takes too long, then you can also X the person out and ask them to jump back in. But we'll see. Maybe he's, in a place that doesn't have good internet. Sometimes that happens. Or sometimes, like I said, they get sort of stuck. Blab is still in beta at this point. We are it's Wednesday, October 7th. So, right. So he must have tried to get out and then try to get back in, once he refreshes. Looks like he is having on your browser. So what I'm doing right now, Marty, is I'm actually recording this Blab on a screen share on Zoom. And so in the beginning of the recording, I showed people how to actually get into Blab and then how to start a Blab. And so they're able to see what it looks like from the host perspective, as opposed to just seeing what it looks like from a viewer, because, that's kind of a big leap sometimes for people to go from being a viewer to being a host. And if they have all those details, the technical things, and they can see it on screen, I'm hoping that gives them a little more confidence to move from being a viewer in a seat to being a host, right? Yeah. Visual is good from the host perspective. Yeah, because then you can see, because the host, just for people that are watching on Blab and not watching the Zoom recording, the host can see everything I'm showing you, like accepting the person, but somebody else can't see that someone was knocking, I call it knocking, but someone was trying to join, and that they can't even see if you reject somebody, right? They can't see any of that. Only the host sees that. So, that's why I'm doing this. So you can see what the host sees before you're a host for the first time. Because when I was going to do the first one, to host my first one, I was like, I have no idea. I'll just wing it, right? But not everyone wants to wing it. They want to actually know what they're doing ahead of time. Welcome, Roger. Welcome. Tech Buzz. Okay, Roger is jumping in a seat. Welcome. So here we go. Here he is. Hi, Roger. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Fabulous. I was just explaining, but I don't know if you heard that I am doing this Blab and I'm recording it on Zoom so that I can teach people what it looks like, the interface looks like when you're the host.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah, you're shooting a little piece of your show here and you'll cut it into your other show and then you'll monetize it. Or advertise.
Yeah. I'm just gonna give it to people as an encouragement to, first of all, get on Blab, and second of all, start their first. Yeah, I'm doing it
and drive traffic.
Right, and so I'm recording it on Zoom. It's not an external recorder. I'm actually screen sharing this.
Here's a clip of film you're gonna need for your piece. What's Zoom?
Oh, okay. So Zoom.us is another platform that you can use to host private calls, right? Blab is a public forum. Anyone can watch the recordings that you do on here. Anyone can jump into the chat unless you kick them. I mean, there are ways to block people, but it's an open forum. Zoom looks a lot like Blab in that it has these squares that multiple people can participate in.
Yeah.
And you can also record while you're on Zoom. So I teach online classes.
Media conferencing software.
Right. I teach online classes and it's very interactive. So I teach them using Zoom because it's a private setting versus Blab. I'm teaching this on Blab,
right,
but I'm also recording it on Zoom, and you can have participants just like this, but on Zoom, and have it be private.
Number one, video conferencing and web conferencing service. Does it cost money?
You can get a free version. My version is like $9 a month.
And what can you do with your version that you can't do?
Denise can answer this better than I can because she signed me up for the Well, tell us the difference. I can't remember what all the things were.
Sarah runs an online class, so it's a product that people have purchased, so only they get the link to the online class, and it's one class runs 4 weeks, another runs 8 weeks. We also had a 12-week class, so that I set it up as a recurring meeting, so it's the same link every week, and then the recordings are saved to Sarah's computer, and then I send out an email to everybody the day after, so they have the recordings available to them, so they can go back, like if they missed a class or they want to watch it again in case they missed something. And there's also a chat box in there, just like in Blab, and that chat box is saved. So if any resources were put in there, like Sarah's recommended books, she also has sent a couple links out to people, so that all gets shared with the people that have paid for the class. So it's a private video conference forum, like GoToWebinar. It's a competitor to GoToWebinar.
Right.
That makes perfect sense. Is that what you're currently using that to share your links and stuff and monetize through Zoom?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a way that I can run a class really easily. It's very simple for people to get into it. So rather than have some complex structure, membership site structure, I just send them a link to the class through Zoom.
They either pay for access or they don't.
Right. Yep.
And that's that's pretty much the way the world should have been for the last 10 or 15 years. But I think I hope it comes down pretty tight, pretty fast, because I believe that if people realize how much money, if they paid for everything they wanted to watch and not all the stuff they already paid for on their cable package, it would be so much less.
Yes.
So the mindset just needs to change, and everybody will save some money, and the people who work really hard will get enough to sustain and thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So, that's one way to do it. There are multiple ways, and that's actually one of the things that I believe about Blab is there's other platforms, there's other ways of doing something similar to this, right? But it's not so much the tool, but actually doing it, right, is a big thing. Like if you're doing
actually doing it is definitely
important, because I think I always get stuck on which is the best tool. I don't know. There's 10 choices. What do I do? And then I'm like, Denise, what do I do? Because she's more technical than I am, right? So, and you hear this now? See how there's an echo? Sometimes when the fourth person joins in Blab, there all of a sudden is an echo. And it could be Nighthawk, welcome. Hi. There's now an echo.
I have a couple of questions. I mean, remembering that Blab is in beta, so, there are glitches. And yes, once a third or actually a fourth person comes on, I've noticed that there's been issues.
Yeah.
And I'll jump off as soon as I give you my questions.
Oh, no problem. But I wanted you to just test something for the people that are watching this recording. If you could test, because we can hear the echo now when I'm speaking. If you could test, if you put your headphones in, will the echo go away? Because I saw that you had headphones. One of the things I recommend when you do Blab is you always have your headphones handy, because when this happens, sometimes you can get through it by just plugging your headphones in. So now go. Oops.
Is that any better?
Yeah, see? Much better, right?
Excellent.
So there's some kind of feedback that you get. So awesome. That was a good test. Okay, go ahead.
Quick, just as a total tangent, but real quick, Blab was messing up so bad last night that Robert Stern's name was over other people. And
oh, yeah. Well, they went down. They actually went down. And was it yesterday or the day before they went down?
Oh, really?
Yeah, for 2 hours. Yeah.
Did they say what caused it?
They didn't, but I forget the guy's name. That's
Don?
Huh?
Don?
The guy that runs the CEO of Blab was on, and whoa, something's happening. Someone's vacuuming. Who's vacuuming? It's not at my house, I can tell you that.
Nobody's cleaning over here, trust me. Sean, the CEO of Blab.
Yeah, Sean. So he was showing people like sleeping in the office because they'd been up all night because they went down and they were trying to get everything back. So
Good. They got a great product. So go ahead with your stuff. I didn't mean to.
Oh, no problem. I was just going to let you ask a question. What's your name, Nighthawk? Which
Yeah. My question is, one, when using, because Zoom is of interest to me for several reasons, and when you use it, does it have the interface to take the money, or do you have to have a secondary thing? Or does
I have a secondary. Yeah.
You have to have a secondary? Okay, that's the first one. Second one is, does it make it possible to time it, how long you have the video up, like a week or 2 weeks or a month or 3 months, and then it expires?
I don't
Are you able to do that on some?
I don't do it there. I put the file somewhere else. So, for example, I put the file into Dropbox, and then I send my students a link to that Dropbox file. So I don't.
You get the audio and the video. You get two files. You get an audio file, you get a video file, you get the chat box, like the text file.
So you can't forward it onward to your students and have your cash register, so to speak, be through Zoom.
No, I just do that separately through PayPal.
So how do you monetize? Do you collect a credit card for your service?
Yep, I just do it through PayPal. Through a PayPal link on my website.
I haven't liked PayPal, and I started using Google Wallet as far as receiving and sending and working with money. And Wallet doesn't charge you any fee, whereas PayPal does.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's why I like Wallet. But
yes, you can use that.
The other one is, can you use it using any platform? Like, can I record on my computer and put that on Zoom?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I'm doing right now,
record directly to Zoom.
Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually recording a screencast on Zoom of us on Blab. And so what I use Zoom for is not only to have an interactive class with people, but I also use Zoom to do all of my screencasts, right? So it's very simple to do a screencast to teach somebody something. You know, I can share anything on my screen, record it, and I get the Zoom recording as a result. And that's happening right now.
Is there a link to that we can see where this is ending up right now?
No, but I will be putting this, I'll actually have this on my blog. So I'm going to have a blog post with this recording embedded in it, right? This Zoom recording of the Blab embedded in it. So if you would like to, just sign up for my, just sign up here. I just put the link in. Just sign up for my blog, and you know, for my list, and you'll get the blog will be sent out to you once it's done, which will be end of this week, beginning of next week. And then you'll get to see the recording from beginning to end of this in Zoom.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
And we're in the process of putting out a new thing, a goals worksheet too, which has a Zoom spread.
Yeah, and I did that. Like I recorded.
This was a little confusing. So you sent moremoneymentoring.com.
Yep.
You told me to do what now?
Oh, when you go to that page, just click on
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's that easy.
Yeah, just sign up, and then all of my subscribers are going to get this blog post when it's done, and it will have this file embedded in it.
Yep.
So you'll be able to watch it.
The other question about Zoom is, does it have, is the ability to use it that I sign up on Zoom and it lives on Zoom, the software, or do I have to download software and work on it like that?
Yes. Yeah, you download it. And
so I can't use it like with a phone or something. I have to do it with a computer.
I don't know. I always do it on my computer because it's much more stable than my phone. You might be able to.
Yeah, it's just that I'm getting ready to travel for the next 3 years, and I bought a specific device, and I'm giving away my laptop and everything to make it easier, because I'm going to be living out of a couple of suitcases.
Right.
And therefore, am looking for the most streamlined way to do things.
Yeah,
So,
Denise can
yeah.
look at.
All right. Well,
and see.
thank you very much.
You're
I'll jump off
welcome.
now.
Thank you for joining. Yeah, you can do it on your phone apparently. So that's cool.
Okay, thanks.
So, all right, so I'm at your site. I'm the slow guy in the room.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm still here. moremoneymentoring.com. I'm there. What am I supposed to do? What are your viewers
This
supposed
is
to do?
good. This is good because it's actually testing my usability of my site right now. So I'm gonna, clearly it's not clear enough.
Well, do I download your free guide? Because that's the only thing I would
Yeah,
need to
that's
do.
it. Just do that.
All right, so that kind of worked. I would have done that if you weren't on the line.
Yeah, and then you will.
A pop-up box that comes up. There's
Yep,
a
and then
pop-up
you can
box
put your
with
email.
pages.
Yeah, it comes up with a get your copy 9 ways to
Yeah,
increase
yeah.
your business.
Exactly. So you get that free thing, and then you'll be on the list, and you'll get the update. You know, you'll get the thing in your email once this blog comes out. It'll show up.
Right.
Welcome, Marty.
I'm gonna send mine from coffeebeforebed@gmail.com because I'm just trying to put everything in one place.
Yeah, I do that too. Totally understand. Hi, Marty. Welcome.
Hey, how are you? I just got a quick tip for you. I won't take too much time.
Oh, no
You
worries.
mentioned that you had a Mac and you're using Zoom, and I just want to get clear on how you're using it. So you're using it just to record and then getting the files locally back to you and then deploying them elsewhere?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I'm not just using it for that. I'm also using it to teach classes. So
Okay.
I do an interactive class, but I'm also using those files from the class, from the presentation part of the class, to repurpose to make into an evergreen class.
Okay. Do you know if those are recorded locally on your computer, or are they recorded on the Zoom service and then it gets sent back to you?
Yes, it's recorded on the Zoom service and then it's sent to Dropbox. I only know this because I had it break one time, right? Where when you log out of the meeting, it says, we're gonna format your meeting and send it to you. I don't know, it doesn't say exactly that, but, and my computer froze. And so I never got the file. And then Denise tried to like get it out of Zoom and it was gone. I had to re-record that particular session.
Okay.
Just for the record, Zoom doesn't suggest that you put the files in Dropbox. Sarah and I do that just so I have access to them. They suggest you save it on your own hard drive.
Right.
They strongly suggest you don't save it to Dropbox.
We just do that for ease because of they don't want to vouch for the reliability. There's several programs that do that. Like QuickBooks, for example, says don't put your files in Dropbox. I don't know why.
Well, you're leaving them on your home computer and hoping your computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Your network needs to access your information.
Exactly. So I don't know why. I've never had a problem. Once it was on Dropbox, I never had a problem. The only problem I ever had was one time when my computer froze and then the recording just got stuck somewhere in Zoom land.
It did.
One suggestion though, if certainly Zoom is great for doing those private coaching calls. That's definitely an excellent application for it. But one thing you might want to consider, since you have a Mac, you can do it for free on your Mac. You already have an application on there, QuickTime.
Yes, I know.
QuickTime will actually do a screen record locally, and what's great about that is it's a local record, so you're not dependent on the internet.
Yeah.
So for something like this that you're recording the screencast, that way it's one less point of failure. So if you have a transmission, or lots of times with Blab, because of the technology, sometimes you'll get some buffering, or it might not.
Right.
So that might be one way. And the other tool you might want to consider, a little bit more of a premium tool, still local record, is, I'm not sure if you've heard of ScreenFlow.
Yeah. That's actually on my list. One of my coaches.
ScreenFlow?
Yeah, ScreenFlow for a Mac. Because you can edit
exactly
better. Like one of the things with QuickTime is that I don't find the editing so simple.
QuickTime really the only thing you can really do is kind of lop off the beginning and the end, kind of shorten it up. But what's nice about ScreenFlow is it's a full editor.
Yeah.
It doesn't do what Final Cut does in some of the higher.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't need that kind of editing.
Yeah.
But one of the things, it's interesting that you brought that up, because one of the things that I know, I just got flashed across my screen a couple of minutes ago, because I am on Blab and recording on Zoom, it said that my CPU usage was
Yes.
right, because and I had this discussion with
I was
Denise.
worried about that.
Yeah, we had this discussion before because I was like, "Do you think this will work?" And she's like, "It could,
Yeah,
it could, but it might be a problem." I mean, I have a pretty powerful computer, but you know, obviously that would be something you would avoid probably by using ScreenFlow or QuickTime.
Yeah, probably be less resource intensive. The other thing I've noticed, I'm not sure if you guys noticed being on Blab, and I'm sure you're using Chrome for your browser.
Yeah.
It's very resource intensive, this technology. So
Yeah.
anything you could do, like if you're running a secondary program, anything you could do to reduce that's good. And I think locally is good. And then also saves on your bandwidth too, because the other thing that I think people make a mistake about Blab or any of these online streaming video services is that they try to do too much. So you end up, that's where you have the problems with connection and all that type of thing. So if you keep it as less complicated as possible.
Mhm.
So if you're using Zoom, that's great for the coaching calls, but if you can do it locally, and if you're just redeploying it, that might be something to consider.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely, I mean, that was one of the things I was like, is this even going to work? And it luckily hasn't failed yet. It's working. It's recording. We'll see what the recording looks like. I mean, as you know, the reason I did it this way is because I wanted to show people that the beginning part and the end part, because when you've hosted your own show before, right? And it gives you a different, you know, you have different options than just joining as a viewer or in a seat.
Yeah, it's good that you show that from, because you can't see that unless you actually schedule one. But that's good that you're doing that, because that's something that normally people wouldn't see. So.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's holding people back from jumping into this platform is not knowing, you know, when I tell people, I'm like, it's a game changer. And they're like, yeah, right, whatever. Uh-huh.
Until you experience it.
Yeah.
Of course, you know,
and I'm like, no, I'm telling you it is. And they're like, yeah, I think it's just a bright, shiny object.
Absolutely.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And a lot of people, I think it's really the fear of not knowing anything about it, more so than actually worrying that, I mean, because come on, people follow a lot of bright, shiny objects and they don't seem to worry about it. Yeah. So go ahead, what were you going to say?
And I think also getting on video is a big hurdle
for
most people. It's not easy to get on there and put yourself out there. A lot of people, I think, on this service, probably 90% are consuming, and 10% like yourself are actually have the guts to get out there and put yourself out there. And when you do, I mean, it's a big win, you know?
Yeah. And I like to tell people it gets easier. You can ask Denise, my first video that I was just recording in my office took me 6 weeks to do.
Exactly.
Because I had, I had to get the right microphone, the right lighting. Oh, then I had to have my hair done. Then I had to go buy makeup. Then I had to go buy a new wardrobe. I mean, I had every excuse. And she's like, did you do the video yet? Nope. It took me 6 weeks to do one video.
I'm liking that baseball cap idea. I'm really liking that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's like when you haven't combed your hair, and you're jumping into Blabs and all that stuff.
Right.
It's a good way to.
You can have the hat. Yeah, someone was saying that. Right. But one of the tips for people that are watching the recording for getting comfortable on video is to join in a seat in Blab, because not all of the attention is on you. It's not like doing a video of yourself. You're on with 3 other people potentially, right? So I think it's a little less daunting because you're on with other people and you can be like, oh, Marty, yeah, he didn't take a shower today.
I didn't either, by the way.
Right?
Well,
Roger, he didn't, right? And you're less self-conscious, right? You're less self-conscious. You're like, oh, Marty's wearing a t-shirt. Yeah. Oh, Roger's wearing a t-shirt. Oh, I guess it's okay that I'm wearing a t-shirt, right? Like it does, you start to see like real people. And I feel like that makes it more accessible where you're like, okay, because sometimes, okay, you'll go and you'll watch some, semi-famous internet marketing person and their video is like unbelievable because it's been edited and it's polished and they can afford $1,000 suit and they have people, doing it for them. So, don't compare yourself to those people. Don't, because you're not there yet. If you're not even comfortable putting your face on video, then you're not going to make a video that looks like theirs. You're not. So just jump on somebody else's Blab. Don't even start your own. Just jump on. Like, jump on a seat. And you know what? Even if you only have like 2 things to say and everyone else is talking, that's okay. No one's going to be like, oh, Roger's not talking a lot. Ooh, what the heck? Right? Like,
I mean, the key is just to start.
Yeah, and
work your way up.
I think
Brewing up here.
so why don't you guys tell us, the people that are watching, a little bit about your experience so far with Blab and the hurdles you had to overcome.
Well, for me, I do video professionally. I've been me and my wife work in our own business. We've just passed 3 years and coming up to a year and a half full time. My previous life, I was with ESPN for 18 years in a management position. And my last position there was a supervisor in edit.
Right.
So, all the highlights you see, that was us. I work primarily nights. So
I don't watch that.
So
only Sports Center. Did you do highlights for Sports Center? That's the only show.
Well, I supervise the editors who edit
cool.
the highlights. So I'm in Connecticut. I worked out of Bristol.
Oh, so you're close to me. I'm in Massachusetts. I'm in Amherst.
There you go. Yeah, New Englander. There
Yep.
you go.
So I'm just north of you.
But I do live video production professionally, and so we work with a couple brands now, and actually we do a show on Blab for a brand. And so we jumped into video a number of years ago, and we kind of did just to kind of stand along here. And what I've seen is this rapid transition of produced video, needing a ton of equipment, to now being able to do it, on your iPhone.
Right, exactly.
And now I'm an Apple guy, iPhone guy, and I can speak to that. But with the new iPhone with 4K video, it's just come such a long way.
Yeah.
And the tools are within people's reach now.
Yeah.
You don't really need to have a lot of technical knowledge. Certainly, if you know what you're doing, it's going to be better. But it's less intimidating now for people to start.
Yeah, I agree. Like the technical part of it is less intimidating. It doesn't mean that you're not intimidated to be on screen, because I think it's 2 different things.
Yep.
Sometimes they come together, but technically, I'm showing people right now, you can jump on Blab right away and you can jump in a seat right away. It might take somebody 6 weeks because they have to get their hair done, or because, right, that they might not feel comfortable. I mean, a lot of people, one of the things that I know is a lot of people are concerned with, have body image issues. So they might be like, oh, I need to lose 20 pounds before I'm going to go on camera. Well, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Like, don't do that, because there's all kinds of people that feel like they need to lose 20 pounds or 40 pounds or 100 pounds that are doing just what we're doing right now.
Exactly. I mean, I think also people appreciate the authenticity. I mean, people can tell if you're faking it,
right.
If you're real, and that video is a great equalizer. I mean, everyone's got something to contribute.
Yep.
And also there's an audience for everything as well. You might think that your interest might be totally obscure, but what I found, at least on here and on other streaming platforms, is there's an audience out there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come at it from a very real perspective and try not to be somebody else, be yourself.
Right.
You might not think you're good enough, but you are. I mean, I found this community, and this is a very young community, just as far as the product being out.
Yep.
Well, one thing I found is very welcoming. My area is video. I'm the geeks, with the geeks and everything, and there's some great people I've met on here in that particular niche, and it's fantastic, and I recommend it. And what's great about Blab is you can just hop on, and then don't worry if it's perfect, but I would say is, be willing to learn, be willing to improve, and you go step by step. As long as you're moving that ball down the field, you're doing well.
Exactly. So I'm just going to say this for people that are watching the video: don't forget, every so often, click tell a little bird, post the tweet right to Twitter. You'll see it on the left, and encourage people that are watching to also do that, right? So then it can bring people in to the conversation. Now you'll see up here, again, that 40 people have been in and out of the room, and currently there's 9 people, right? So that gives you sort of like a running total of where you're at. I find the longer you're on a Blab, that generally speaking, unless it's horrible, but if you're talking about something interesting, the more people that start to join, and then you start to, get some momentum. Sometimes when you first start out, you're there's only a couple people in the room. And so what happens is if you look on the home page, which we can look at after, is that your blab is down the bottom. Well, if somebody's scrolling through, and they might change this, but if someone's scrolling through, generally speaking, they're going to see the blabs towards the top, especially as there's more and more people. So Roger, why don't you let us know your blabathon experience so far?
Well, I've been using the name @rabberjabber and making movies. Basically, my mind, I've always referred to it as rabber jabber. So
Yeah.
the fact that Blabber came out just means that there's a Rabber Jabber Blabber show.
That's cool.
And right now, my current experience is to just harness all of this great energy into one spot. So I have a show that I started called Coffee Before Bed, and I actually started on Periscope.
Cool.
And I did it right in front of an audience because I want to be part of or right on the forefront of a term I don't hear people using, but I think every programmer in the room would know: agile filmmaking. And there's a way to make movies differently than previously. And I'm not trying to wreck or ruin a model that's already broken.
Right.
I just have dreamed of another way to do it. And the difference of being able to do certain pieces of my overall machine to achieve the goal, I can now I believe I'm going to be able to do on a platform such as Blab. And I'll tell you why in a second, but let me just back up, right? I'm Roger Roth. I'm a filmmaker. I've been making movies since I was 11, and I've made 3 feature films. And it's a rough, tough, ugly business trying to be a filmmaker with a good idea, great idea, it doesn't even matter. I mean, when you write a movie, I always joke with people, I'm like, if you think getting someone to read your finished screenplay is tough, try getting them to watch your finished movie,
Where are you located, Roger?
What's that?
Where are you?
I'm in California, in Hollywood.
Oh, cool.
Area. And so I've built one piece of this machine, movie in a box, it's everything I need to make a movie already ready. And it's in various sizes and forms. And over the years, I've turned it into a rental business where other people who understand that, wow, a truck full of great tools is a truck full of great tools. Now I can focus on just the story and literally have, a red camera, the top of the line lenses, top of the line sound, the best microphones, the best everything already packaged. All on a 10-ton truck is originally how I packaged it. And I have sizes all the way down to what I call Lightbox and Sketch. And so that people can literally, so the other thing about Blab that is why to get back on the topic of why I'm here is similar to you, Sarah. There is a function of Blab that I could use within my storytelling. And I could come on to a live audience, grab the pieces I need for a different show with a live audience and get that participation, and then continue using all the other tools that exist in the world. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. I used to film real life like a movie or a television show, most closely resembling Curb Your Enthusiasm, everywhere I went. Not everywhere, but I would set up, these great moments in life, but we'd be rolling with 2 cameras and tripods and a crew and nobody understanding what the hell you're doing 10, 15 years ago, going, all right, guys, we're just going to live life a little bit here. All right, we're not moving on. We're just living. And people are like, does this guy even know how to make a movie? This isn't how you make a movie. And you fight that system. And I think people believe that it all comes down to time and it all comes down to money. And so for me, Blab is the opportunity to not have to bring all this other gear to tell the behind the scenes story of what I'm trying to do. And in this case, because I'm an experimental filmmaker in many ways, is I built something called the Improv Network. I want to make improv movies, literally from my head, working with improvisers, but I want to be able to take suggestions from all of you guys, package those suggestions, take you right there with me to the set, and boom, you're in on that process. But if you don't come with me on any part of this journey, then it's like you don't care how it's made. So like something that doesn't stand up to Schindler's List, it's like, well, yeah, we made it in a minute. It was an idea about an orange pen that got out of control. You know what I mean? It's that kind of movie. And then it's like, wait, that was funny. Bring back the pen. And we do and we can. And so that's my really short, long answer for
Well, thank you. I'm sorry I had to miss some of that. As you saw, my daughter was, well, you didn't hear it because I muted myself, but she was having a little meltdown about a missing toy. So now all is well. I found the toy. All is good in the world.
Well, you can catch me on replay, or I can give you the short version and say that basically Blab is an incredible participation network opportunity for all of us sitting on the cutting edge of technology.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I was saying, as I was saying before, it's a game changer, but convincing someone that it's a game changer when it isn't always the easiest thing to do. So I just tell them it's a game changer. And then if they I had somebody disagree with me. It can't be a game changer. How do you say?
Movie in a box is a game changer. I'm not the first guy to put gear in a truck, but I am the first guy that I know of in this area to be able to, if you need a 10-ton truck to shoot a feature, we can shoot tomorrow. We can shoot today if we can find a driver. I mean, it's that ready.
Exactly.
Keep all of that ready. This is a 6-week project on any feature film to gear up and where we get
exactly. I've seen it in New York City, watching all these trucks come in for filming on location. I have a client in Brooklyn, and every time I go, there's movies being shot because it's right by the Brooklyn Bridge. It's a beautiful spot. And there's like 10 trucks there just getting set up. And that's even before they start shooting. That's a long time before they start shooting.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you don't need all that gear, but I am saying that there is another way to make movies besides bringing 10 trucks and all this stuff to the game. But my point isn't about movie in a box. It's about the fact that I definitely built a game changer in many ways.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they're so used to doing it the old way.
Exactly.
And the producers come back and say, yeah, but my DP wants to shoot with this camera.
Exactly.
Who's your DP? Is he that amazing that the difference between an Alexa or a Red or this lens? Figure out your story. How about that?
Right. Well, and I think that's why, why I'm actually taking a different approach. Rather than trying to convince somebody that's a game changer, they need to learn, right? The reason they're not buying into, the reason, and yes, people are jumping into Blab and they're doing things to bring more people in. Like, for example, tomorrow they're going to have PodCon, right? So I know a lot of people that are podcasters, and I'm in a podcast group on Facebook, and somebody I know is somebody that started Podcast World Conference, right? So all of those things, bringing podcasters into Blab. Next week I'm going to be interviewed on Blab for a podcast, and so all of those things, starting to bring some of those influencers in, and then also teaching people, right? Because that's the hurdle that you have, Roger, is that needing to do the education and the and the selling ultimately, right?
Yeah, I mean, to finish the cliche, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, and that's true of probably any game changer. And like when they came, you guys know the story when they came out with the automobile. People didn't like it.
Right.
You know why?
They wanted faster horses.
No, because it scared the horses.
The
gas engine scared the horses.
Was noisy, yeah.
Yeah, and so they didn't like it.
Yep. Well, and that's what I'm finding is there are still people that are pretty big influencers in social media and in marketing that aren't yet on Blab, right? And that makes sense, right? Because if you have a system and a model that's working for you, riding a horse, and it's working fine, if you're making money doing your thing over on, LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, doing it elsewhere, and it's working for you, then why would you be an early adopter of something new? You're not going to be, right?
Yeah, but it is trying to increase your flow of output because the metrics on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook keeps changing their algorithms to make it quicker and quicker and quicker for us to upload content to sustain, and yet nobody's monetizing. Who's that really working for?
I think it's only working for people that are, as I say, internet
Established.
famous. I call it internet famous. So I think it is working for some of those people, although they do stuff off of that platform. They do stuff because they have a list of 100,000 people, right?
Absolutely.
If I had a list of 100,000 people, maybe I wouldn't be on Blab as often. I don't have that list yet.
No, you would be. You would be on Blab, but you'd be. The point is this: is ultimately there's going to be the Sarah show.
Yeah.
And whether it's about money or whether
it's called the Money Show, but yes.
What's that?
It's called the Money Show. We're on it right now.
Understand. But that's what it's called right now.
Right.
However, I think you're going to find, and this is just a prediction, that once that show goes and you realize you do that an hour a day or an hour a week, you might want to add a second hour with your other stuff that you're good at, the other topics that you know of, and people like you here, and now you can connect that following from one to the other, so you can monetize on one platform and repeat that process.
Yeah, but you know what? And I'm looking at the comments there, and I happen to agree with BI.
I think it's supposed to be Blab King.
Blab King.
Yeah.
You're talking about two different platforms
Yeah.
entirely. And I think the reason why people are slow to adopt Blab is they see it just as another social network, another network just to suck up their time. And what I find the differentiator with Blab is that basically it's a public video chat. I don't see it necessarily as a production platform, although for beginners it is because it's so easy. But it's no replacement for YouTube Live, Ustream, these other more professional platforms, that you can do HD video and really do quality work. It complements. So for me, as a professional, I see it as I'm making a tremendous amount of connections here. I see it as, you can flesh out ideas and you can, it's great for public mastermind. It is all public.
Right.
So you gotta, be concerned about that. There's other private platforms you can use, like Sarah, you were mentioning, Zoom. You have a whole workflow for that, certainly.
Right.
But that's what I see it here is doing these very casual shows, and you can certainly do shows. Frankly, the video quality, audio quality is not. There are other methods to get better quality. But for the social aspect, I think that's where the game changer is for Blab.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think, YouTube is huge, right? I mean, just ask my kid. He's on YouTube all the time, right? People, he learns on video. He gets his entertainment from YouTube. He has a television in his room. He doesn't even turn it on, right? So, I don't think that this platform, takes away from that platform, right? It's just the interaction factor that's really simple here. And the fact also, oh, sorry, I missed that. No, just wanted to follow now. I asked Roger to share about.
I think there are other folks that want to jump in. So
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks, Marty. It was great talking to you.
Great.
Thanks for jumping in.
A great show, and hopefully see you on the Blabs again soon.
And yeah, no problem. And one of the things.
Hey, can I ask Marty a quick question? On QuickTime, where do I start to look to figure out to get the screen capture?
Oh, it's in your source. So let me just launch it here. Let me just make sure I know what I'm talking about before I tell you.
Well, you do. I followed you.
So if you go to launch QuickTime Player, and you go to the file menu, you'll see new movie recording, new audio recording, new screen recording. And what that screen recording, it just takes a full screen record of your whole screen. And it's a very simple, free way to do it.
Right.
Again, ScreenFlow for a more ScreenFlow is great because you can zero in on a window, you can edit, but
After,
this is
yeah.
a free solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'll use
So I just want to bring up a point to people watching the recording is, one of the things that's sort of Blab etiquette is that when somebody in the chat starts asking questions and then wants to jump into a seat, you just give up your seat. Now, obviously, if you're the host, you only leave when your kid's freaking out.
I'm happy to leave anytime, by the way.
Yeah, so that's sort of, just so you know, I mean, Marty's jumping out, so he's going to jump out. Somebody then will be able to jump in that open seat if they choose to. But usually somebody, like, if you're dying, if you're like, I got to say something, just put it in the chat that, like, hey, can I have an open seat? Or can I jump in? I have a question, right?
I'm going to hop off. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Marty. Right? So then now you guys.
I think Blab King should jump in.
Yeah, Blab King.
I'm gonna jump off too, Sarah.
Okay, bye, Denise. Thank you.
Nice meeting.
All right, so Denise is out. So yeah, films seem cool. Blab King, you want to jump in? Anyone? See, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes a couple people will jump out at the same time, right? Because it's a window. It's when I stop talking so much, right?
All right, is Blab King coming in?
No, Blab King, are you going to come in? Blab King.
Blab King, I'm going to do a movie in a box Blab at some point.
Yeah, that would be cool. Hi, Carlton's coming in. And Walter wants to come in and ask a question. Walter's a photographer, and I've blabbed with him before. Hi, Walter. Hi, Carlton. What you got, Carlton?
I am on the road. I don't know if this connection is good or not. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri on my way back home on my lunch break. Question I have, I want to follow the rest of this conversation and view it later.
Yes.
And I'm not too familiar with the shortcuts. I'm going to add you guys because I've been tapping the little ad and I haven't gone back to find people after that. But this is a great platform and I want to see the rest of this discussion later when I get back home. So is there a shortcut way for me to see your link to the same deal?
Absolutely. The easiest way is if you're following me and you just click on my profile, you'll see, let's see if I can show people right here. I might not be able to show it right because I'm in a Blab, but if you click on me and your list of people that you're following after, you'll see replays listed under my name.
Okay.
Now, if you're following Roger, you're not going to see it under his name. You'll only see it under the host's name. So you want to make sure that if you're looking for it later, you look for it by the host. And you can search, like you could search Sarah Thompson and find me, or you can just look in the people that you're following and you'll see that, this is going to be replay number 6.
I think also if you go to your own profile.
Yep.
Yeah, after this is over, because it's recording, I think if you go to your own profile, this will show up also because you've jumped on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Yeah.
Some of them, I see that for myself.
Oh, that it shows up the recording, but yeah. I don't know that.
As long as she lets it be visible. I think you can also make it non-visible after it was recorded.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to check that out. I'll try if it allows me to make it visible. I'll try that and see, and then have Denise go and see if she sees it under hers, and then I'll put that in the blog post.
Okay.
So what I was
she posted a link. Thanks for that too.
Yeah. So what I was saying to Roger is if you just sign up for my free thing, moremoneymentoring.com, and which he did, then you'll be on my list and you'll get noticed when I have the blog post, which will have the Zoom recording embedded in the post, and you'll be able to see how to start your own from the beginning. So literally from, starting a new Blab, because a lot of people are getting used to the platform by jumping in a seat, but you can't, by jumping in a seat, you don't see the host screen, right? You don't see all of the things you do when you're host. You see it differently as the host. So that's why I'm recording it I'm recording it in Zoom so that you can see the whole process from beginning to end of of doing a Blab, hosting a Blab.
I'm losing my.
Oh, bye. Thank you. He's losing his connection. If somebody loses their connection, you can also X them out if they're not able to X themselves out. And sometimes you want to do that just because, you know, they're having a bad internet thing. Okay, Sarah, welcome. Oh, that's weird. It still shows Carlton on my screen. Sarah is Carlton. It's like a dual person. He took over your body.
Wait a minute, that was a double take.
Yeah, that was like, wait a minute, that's not Sarah. Hi, Sarah, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Hi.
And I just want to show people that are watching the recording, if someone new comes in, you might want to just see like who they are. So you get a little blurb about them in their bio. And if they're following you, you might want to follow them. Okay, so that's done.
So I wanted to ask Roger a question.
Absolutely, Walter. Go for it.
Okay. So you said before that it's hard enough to get your screenplay read.
Yep.
But then if you have a film already made, it's hard to get people to see it. I don't understand. Do you have any understanding why that is? Now, I don't mean. Do you mean everyone, or just certain people that you want to see it for money or something?
It's funny hearing you ask this question, not knowing who you are at all. Let me just quickly see. You're a photographer, you're an artist,
I'm photographing for 57 years.
You what?
I am photographing for 57 years.
Okay. So
why is it funny that I'm asking it?
Oh, he's just saying it's funny because he doesn't know the context of the question.
No, a little bit of that, but it's funny because ask the question one more time and I'm going to answer it right after that.
I don't know if I can do it exactly because I don't have to remember. But you said that it's difficult or it's hard enough to get anyone to watch to read a screenplay. But also, it's hard to get them to look at your movie.
I said if you think it's hard to get someone to read your screenplay, try getting them to watch your finished film. Right. And as I was watching you try to quote that, it reminded me that times have changed. And the things I dreamed of 10 years ago for self-distribution for movies and platforms, they did not exist. And so I may need to start changing the way I start summing things up because some things are no longer true. Like to go make an improv movie and to have a live audience with me the whole time who can make suggestions at every post along the way that I want them to be able to did not exist to me before Blab. For me, that is why I'm here.
And now you can do that. You can get that instant feedback. You can be like, hey guys, do you think this looks cool or this looks cool? Oh, I like A. No, I like B. Right?
Absolutely. And that would be the part.
For that, I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
I would hope that you would be open enough that you didn't have to have the same people follow you. That you would be able to allow other people along the time span to jump in and give you the feedback. Because unless you're going to be paying someone to spend however long it's going to take to make the movie, that's my
point. This would be me doing this for your entertainment purposes because I've made plenty of movies by myself and alone, and I just thought it'd be fun to be able to come into a platform and do that. But to answer your question, there are more platforms now, starting with one that just came to my front brain the other day. I learned about it called VHX.
Right. So this is a good example. People are having an issue in the chat about that we got off topic, right? So I just want to use this as an example for people that are watching the video, that when that happens, you can choose to interrupt. And, sometimes it feels really awkward because I don't like interrupting people. Like my mother always taught me, don't interrupt anybody. But when you're hosting, you sometimes need to do that because, someone has a question on the side, or someone like Sarah just joined, but she hasn't had a chance to talk. So then it's like the person who just joined feels kind of awkward. Like, I don't know if you feel that way, Sarah, but I always do. Like, do I say anything? I always feel awkward anyway. So let's do that.
Let's jump off. How about I jump off?
Well, thank you for joining. I really appreciated everything you had to say. And
Before he goes, wait.
Yes.
Before he goes, isn't that part of how to make money with this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start a new Blab under Movie in a Box,
And honestly, I think that's a great topic, and I think that Roger, like, there is a whole group of people that really are focused on the film and the video production aspect of Blab, how to use it, and like just like they're doing PodCon tomorrow for podcasters. Now podcasters are now starting to record their shows on Blab. I'm doing that next week with someone, and then they take the audio file and use that as their podcast. So there's all kinds of cool things that are coming out of this, like live, you know, hey, Roger is like, wants to talk more on the video stuff. He should go and just start a Blab right now. It's really cool. And like Walter can hang out with them. And like, if Roger leaves, I leave, right? So Blab King wants to talk about this. He thinks this Blab sucks.
Great topic. And I look forward to watching your show more. Bye, guys. See you later. And,
all right. Thanks, Roger. I'm sorry you think this Blab sucks, Blab King. I usually
I don't think Blab
leave.
sucks.
I leave a Blab if I think it sucks. And I also try to lead with kindness. So when I'm on somebody else's yeah, but the topic wasn't film. But okay. But when I'm on somebody's Blab, I just try to be nice. And that's all. So I recommend doing that, is being kind to people. But go ahead, Sarah.
And that was a good point that you just made, because not only is Blab for the people who are on screen, but Blab is a networking tool for people who are in the comment section. And I mean, Blab King completely turned me off.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a really big turnoff. So you have to be nice on screen. You have to be nice in the comments too. And you have to be respectful for everyone involved.
Yeah. And one of the things, you know, is that you can't please everyone. Right. And yeah, it's fine if the subject's boring. I don't care. Honestly, that's not, you know, some people, I jump on Blabs and I'm like, oh, this is not for me. They are talking about something that I have no interest in, and I just jump off. It's fine. It's not offensive. Like, that's the big thing, is don't be offended when someone jumps off your Blab. You have no idea whether your topic was good or boring or anything. Don't take it as that necessarily. I mean, if they tell you the topic's boring, then okay, it's boring to them. It doesn't mean it's boring to everyone else. And they might not be your people. I mean, sometimes people are your people, and sometimes people are not your people. And
I usually say, not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah, and I don't even like look at it like that, because it doesn't necessarily mean, glad Chris is on board, doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with that person, because I don't think that that's true. I don't think, I mean, I know Blab King said he's not nice, but that's what he said, is if I'm not interested in something, why would I continue to stay there? What, like, and how is me leaving or saying this is boring to me a reflection on me as a person? It's not, right? As I said, Blab can be like having a remote control, right? And you're watching TV and you see something and you're like, no, next. And it doesn't even mean that the subject is boring for you at that moment, right? It can also mean that, you know, I mean, that's boring to you all the time. It could mean that at that moment you're like, I mean, there's times when I cannot watch TV for another minute of anything that is complex, right? My brain is completely fried. I can only watch like the dumbest TV, like I can watch HGTV, right? But that's it. That's all my brain can handle. I cannot handle like some kind of drama that's all complicated, detective show, because it requires too much brain activity. So it could be that. It could be the topic is, you know, more serious than someone wants. Maybe they need to be cheered up. Maybe you need to smile a little more. So Sarah, tell us about your experience so far on Blab.
Okay, so I've started a business called Sane and Satisfied, helping women, single moms, find 10 minutes of bliss every day. And a subsegment of that is called Heartly Broken.
Mm-hmm.
And I co-host a show with a friend of mine who we both are going through a divorce.
Right.
And we help women who are going through
Congratulations,
a divorce.
by the way.
Thank you. We help women who are going through a divorce find 10 minutes of bliss every day. And we try to give them a more holistic support to get through that divorce. So we don't just focus on the legal aspect. We don't just focus on
right.
the support group type aspect. We focus on everything from helping with finances to helping with parenting to
that's all stuff that people need. I mean, I went through a divorce, thankfully 10 years ago. It's long in my past, but I know that one of the things that I did was I didn't have a great support system at that time, and so I used my attorney as my support system, and I can tell you that costs a lot of money.
Yes.
So even if it's not like kumbaya kind of support, even if it's just like helping people when they have a question, just think of that money savings. Because guess what? Every time I called my attorney, if I called her for one question, 1 minute, they charge me 15 minutes, right? So you'll see that, right? So that's awesome. So you have a show, and how often do you have your show?
Our Heartly Broken show is weekly. It has been on Mondays, but my co-host is actually having some personal issues, so she can't do it on Monday nights anymore. So we're thinking about changing it to Sundays.
Right.
But it's going to be a weekly show.
Yep.
And we have different guests on every week to talk about a different topic.
Cool.
And then for Sane and Satisfied, I've also started a book club, a single mom's book club.
Cool.
And right now we're doing Eat, Pray, Love. And so we just did that today. And I wanted to get on because obviously of the topic, the title of this, I'm having issues getting traction and getting people to tune in. And even our last show that we had on Monday night had 5 or 6 subscribers, and that was the most subscribers that we've ever had. But none of those subscribers showed up.
Right.
So we're having trouble getting people to tune in, and people who subscribe, we're having trouble getting them to tune in for the show that they actually subscribed for. So
right. And that's the case. I mean, I subscribe for stuff, and then I don't necessarily have the time at that time. Like something comes up. I would recommend, in terms of, gaining some traction on Blab, what I found was, I've been on Blab for 32 days and I have, I don't know how many followers, 292 followers. And what I found was really helpful for increasing my following, which increases your notifications when you start a Blab, right? You can notify all your followers. And they'll see you on the schedule or whatever. I don't know how all the notifications work because I don't actually have them all set up, because if I had notifications set up, I would be like an ADD mess. Right? But if many of your followers have the notifications set up, so the main thing for you, I think, to gain traction is to get more followers. And the way that you get more followers is you join other people's Blabs.
Oh, yep. That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
And you join in more than one way. You join in the chat, right? Because if you're saying something good in the chat, like Walter just put something in the chat, even though he was on screen a little while ago, he just put something, very thoughtful in the chat. So, somebody sees something they like in the chat, they might click, I can click right here and see him, and then I can follow him and say, oh, that was really nice. I think I'll follow him. And I followed him, right? And but the best way is not, thank you, Jonathan, right? Is this Jonathan? Yes. I saw you last night. So the best way is to jump in a seat, right? Because, and if you can jump in a seat in a Blab that is somebody that is like a Blab veteran, which I don't know, they've been on for like 2 months instead of 1 month, that has a lot of viewers, people will follow you, right?
Mhm.
And then also, I think to be clear about when your show is, right? In your bio.
Okay.
That's another idea, right? Is to
We get
say,
so much space though.
I know, but there's other things that you could take out, right? You know, like I help single moms find 10 minutes of bliss every day. You don't need to have that long a sentence. You can, I mean, as a previous single mom, I could tell you, just you saying I help single moms, like you have me, right? And then the 10 minutes of bliss can be part of, you know, your tagline or your show or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily need to be in your bio. Your bio is like prime real estate. That's why I advise everyone put their URL in their bio so that people can go to your website right from your bio. And you don't need, I mean, I did type my website over in the side because people asked.
Mhm.
And okay, let's see what Chris says. Walter, well, it's Valdolord, I don't know, Kingdom. You would have to expect the Blabs would get off topic regularly. It would be a cool feature if they made it possible for that subset of folks to easily move to another Blab. Maybe that's possible now. I don't know. I think the way to do that is just for someone to say, hey, I really want to talk more about video. And I'm like really interested in this topic because I'm a video pro, right? I'm not a video pro. I'm not a video anything. I just started on Blab 32 days ago. So then you saw that some of those people left and they went over there. Totally cool. Fine. Do it. Yeah, right. You can, yes, thank you. Bye. Yeah. So you can go to another Blab. And again, like I said, when you're hosting a Blab, don't worry so much about how many people are in the room or like the metrics of it or like, okay, this many people said they were going to be here. The main thing when you're hosting a Blab is not to be like, it's really hard when you start a Blab and there's only one person in a seat, right? And it's only you. So like you have a co-host, that's awesome because you're starting the Blab with 2 people in a seat. The best way, and I don't know, I watched Sean, the president of Blab, CEO of Blab, said that actually 3 seats attracts the most people because people know there's an open seat. So if they want to jump in, they can. But sometimes they worry if it's 2 seats, like I do this. I sometimes don't join a Blab with 2 people in a seat because I'm worried that it's more of an interview style, that I won't have the opportunity to jump in. And often when you join, and I've noticed this, if I join a 2-seat Blab, sometimes it is an interview, like for a podcast, and the seats are locked, right? And it's like, if I have something burning to say, I don't necessarily want to sit there and listen to a whole thing and then finally get a chance to jump in. I mean, the whole reason I like this platform is because it's super interactive, right?
Yeah.
So it totally depends, but I would say having a person in the other seat and also having a compelling topic title and also putting it out. I mean, I don't know what other social media you're on, but that's one of the things that helped me initially is I just asked people that I already knew on Facebook and, you know, I put it in my Facebook group to join the Blab and a couple of people came over that happened to see it.
Yeah, I try to do that too, and I'm trying to build our Facebook group as well, but I'm not having a whole lot of good luck with that either. And the fact that the topic is, you know, women going through a divorce, and that's a very touchy subject. The other groups that are on Facebook, the admins are very protective of the people in that group. So I'm even having trouble really getting into those groups, even groups that I've been in for, you know, for the past year. I've been separated for a year, and I got into these groups very shortly after my separation. And so I had been posting and helping and asking questions, and I felt like I was, you know, building trust, but, you know, the admin still didn't want me to even post about my other group or post about really anything.
Yeah, well, I find something that's happening a lot in Facebook groups is that some Facebook groups, they don't want you to pull people away from their group, and so they don't want you to post about your group in their group.
I don't understand that at all.
I don't get it, because ultimately,
I even explained how my group is going to be different from
yeah,
theirs.
I don't get it, but what I find is that there are people that have that worldview. They have that view of a person belonging to them. It's crazy, right? A person belongs to them because they're in their group. It's one of their people, and they want to somehow restrict, that person from following you. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Because all they're doing is restricting the resources,
right? And they're also restricting their own brand ultimately. Because why would you not want people to be more connected that are associated with your brand, right? Like people in my group, and granted, my Facebook group, I only allow people to post promotional things, including asking to join other groups 1 day a week, just because I don't want it to be all about that. But, anyway, getting off topic.
Getting back to your topic, what are some of the ways that you've talked about to make more money using Blab?
Well, so the main thing that I talked about initially is to have something to sell. So what do you actually sell?
Right now I have an ebook.
Okay. So
that's on my website.
Right. So that's only one thing. You need to sell more things. So, whether it's a program, I don't know what your areas of interest are, but only having one thing, that's one way that people can consume your content. You may want to, maybe it's a support group, and maybe it's a membership support group. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing out ideas. That might not be what you want to do, but something that is aligned with what your audience needs, what your followers need, and is something that you really enjoy. Like I'm now teaching classes because that's a way that I can get my message out, and I enjoy interacting with people. So I have more things that people can buy from me, right? And I'm working on other things too. It's like I would like to have 10 different things that people could buy from me, right? Because then if it's not the right thing or whatever, it all around the same subject, but different opportunities for people to engage with me and buy things from me at different price points, right? Because how much is your ebook?
Right.
How much is your ebook?
Oh, how much? $4.99.
Right.
It's 32 pages. I'm also working on a therapeutic coloring book, specifically one for the mom and her child to color at the same time. So one side is for the mom and one side is for the child.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I'm working on that too.
That's good. And then I would say to create something that's a higher price point as well.
That's what I'm having trouble with.
Yeah, because one of the problems, like I just created a low price point. I created a 90-day planner that has instructions and like a screencast, and it's $7. Well, ultimately I have to sell a lot of $7 stuff to make any money, right? Right? If I sell 1,000, I make $7,000. But if I have a product that's, $500, then I only need to sell 14 and I make $7,000, right? So that would be what I would challenge you to do, is start to think about what you can sell that's a higher price point. Doesn't mean that as many people will buy it. They probably won't, right? Probably fewer people will buy it, but at least having that available, because you're not offering that. You're not saying, hey, let me be your divorce mentor. And instead of paying your lawyer $250 an hour, pay me $200 a month, whatever. Right?
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much. I've got to get going.
Well, I am going to close this out because I actually have to get interviewed at 2 on a podcast. And I want to show on the screen, how you close out the Blab. So thank you everyone for joining. And if you want to get this video, which is beginning to end how to host a Blab, then you can, thanks, Chris, really appreciate it. And you just go to my website, moremoneymentoring.com, and sign up for my list, free thing, and you'll get the notice when the blog post comes out. So thank you, everyone. This was great fun, and I'll see you again. Nice to meet you, Sarah.
You too. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, so she's going to go out, and then we're still recording this. So you see who's still left in the room. 70 people all together. Now I'm going to get out of here. And first, let me turn off the recording. So this will turn off the Blab recording, but we're still recording on Zoom. And then I don't actually know how to get out of this, but I always just go to this, and then it sort of kicks me out to the main room. If you click on that beta right there, and then it will show you everything else that's happening. Oh, my phone's ringing. That's not good. In the Blabosphere. Now let's go and look and see on my profile. Ah, look, it's already there, right? So the replay number 6, because I only had 5 replays before, is already there. Super cool, right? So as you create more content, you'll see more and more replays. Cool, cool. All right, and then what happens is it will, does it email me a file? I'm not sure. I have to go and look. But anyway, you've gotten through your first Blab. Congratulations for doing this. And thanks for watching so much of this. I probably will cut out some of the middle. It seems like 2 hours is too long to learn how to run a Blab. Maybe I'll just do the beginning and the end, and then also the full thing for people that really love Blab so much they want to watch the whole thing. But thank you for joining, and if you would like to, feel free to, if you haven't already, feel free to sign up to get updates. Either follow me up on Blab at Thompson Sarah B. You can see it right here. Or join me on Blab, jump in a seat, and we can have a conversation. See, how cool is that? All right, so I think that's it. And then I think I can just log out of Blab. And then I can get out of here, and let me get out of, stop sharing this video. You see me again. Hi, hello, here I am. I'm still here. I don't know why my camera's kind of blurry today. It's weird. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording on here.